Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It actually feels so good to be able to welcome you back because this is my second video ever and I'm just riding that motivation wave. So looking into getting started with this week's content, which is 5 motivation hacks to get you motivated to pursue your passions outside of the corporate 9 to 5 or whatever else you do with your day-to-day. Today's video is all about how to help you get motivated to get what you want to get done, not what your boss wants you to get done, not what your spouse or your kids, but what you actually want to get done for you. These tips actually go hand in hand, so make sure you listen to all 5 so that you can understand them for maximum impact. So last week I talked about how the hardest thing to work on are things for ourselves, especially if we have busy lives already, whether it's being a mom or dad or working at a corporate job or all of the activities that you have to do. The hardest thing is to actually get motivated to make time and space for ourselves. So really, these tips are to help you do exactly that. So let's get right into it without any further ado. Hack number 1, do the smallest thing first to get yourself into action. So we've all heard the tip probably if you want to get to the gym to put on your shoes first, and that will get you to find your car keys and get to your car, and it'll set things in motion, right? So why not use the same exact tip for working on your passion project? The first thing that you can do if you're like trying to write a book is just literally grab a pen and paper. I think a lot of people have writer's block and they wander around and they toss and turn and can't sleep. And, they really haven't even taken that first step of just sitting in front of a computer or grabbing a pen and paper and starting to write their thoughts down, even if they don't know exactly what they're going to write. If you're trying to start your own business, write down the first top 3 things you want to accomplish for the year. Just start writing them down and it'll get the ideas flowing. Or if you feel like that's even too much of a bite, just write down your vision. What is your vision? Put down your vision board. Like, what do you hope to accomplish? What are your hopes and dreams? That will really get your gears turning. Let's say you're trying to start a side hustle and trying to get your first client. Don't start from scratch. Go grab your resume of all the skills that you have and write a description of yourself and what you can do for your clients. Don't feel like you have to start from scratch and reinvent the wheel. You already have a lot of things from work, like your resume, or, even if you have like performance reviews of yourself, you already have a lot that's showcasing what your skills are, and you can actually put these to use without having to start from scratch. And if all else fails and you just can't get started on what you're actually trying to do, then just go for a 10-minute walk. I kid you not, going for a 10-minute walk will break you out of whatever bind you're in or whatever, rut you're in. A walk is proven to actually be more energizing than a whole cup of coffee. And also you're not going to suffer a crash from it right after you've gotten motivated and have to go take a nap. Hack number 2 is set a time and place. Just like for work, there's a time and place, right? Like you get up at a certain time in the morning, you go to the office, and then you sit down at your office chair. I think there's really great productivity habits that work helps you build in naturally and that we don't even think about. But really think about the systems and habits that you've built at work and apply those to your passion project, your side hustle, or your business as well. I'll give you a recent example. As I mentioned in my last video, the one thing I did to change and actually ended up setting a time and place for myself was the second that I woke up, I'm lying in bed and I'm thinking about what I need to get done for the day that's specific to my passion. Not what I have to do for work, not checking email or Slack, but really setting that 5 minutes of time to just get into the right mind space and think about how do I fit in, some things that I really want to do for myself outside of just my normal day-to-day. And this example is kind of a combination of tip number 1, 2, because I started really small, right? Like I started with a small change, but I also really set a time and place. So the key takeaway is you really need to set time and space for yourself in order to actually fit your goals in and define the motivation. I think inspiration can strike randomly and you can't really control that, but you can really control the time and place that you make for your goals and really getting yourself there to follow through. And this will help you make it into a habit and just have it happen naturally. So it's just like how we do it for our corporate job, right? Like if you have a corporate job, you get up at a certain time, you get yourself ready the same way, you catch the same bus or train, or you take the same car ride into work, and you're really creating a habit along the way. And you're creating that time and space for yourself to actually get yourself to work. And, have you ever had days where you get to work and you're like, I'm just not motivated. I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I just don't even want to work today. But then you get to your office, you have that cup of coffee or, 10-minute walk, and you're ready to go. And you also have other people around you that are working, and you're just going to feel really weird if you're not working, right? So just think about how much companies have put into productivity because it really affects their bottom line. So all the way from how the office is structured, what software they use like Slack or Outlook, it's all set up to get you to be the most productive possible. So why not use these hacks into the goals that you're trying to pursue? So besides some of the hacks that I've mentioned, maybe think about what have been your most productive days at work. What happened? Was it a meeting? Was it brainstorming? Was it like your boss gave you a really hard deadline? What got you the most motivated? And use that to apply to what you're trying to do at home. So this is a bit of a bonus part 2 to this hack. Also get accountability by telling people who are close to you, whether it's people that you live with or your friends, of what you're trying to do each week. So you've set the time, but don't just like have it be a time frame in your head. Make sure that there's others who know what you're trying to do so that they can help you keep on track. For example, for this video, I don't even know if I would have made it by this deadline if someone who is close to me didn't say, hey, Lena, didn't you say that you were going to post another video on Monday? So when are you going to actually record that? So here I am on a Saturday morning, and I'm recording this video because I was reminded of my own accountability. Usually your coworkers will give you a reminder like, hey, like Slack you like, hey, do you have this follow-up that you were going to send me? Or, where's this email that you were going to send? Or are you going to this meeting later at 4 o'clock? Like, you have those reminders throughout the day, and that's the working environment that I think companies have created that's so productive. So really apply those learnings to, pursuing your own business and your own passions. All right, and this brings us to hack number 3, which is eliminate distractions. I can't tell you how distracting it is to have Facebook or Instagram or even YouTube notifications pop up on your phone, and you just go down a rabbit hole. All of a sudden, I'm always wondering, like, how did I get to this video? And you even see in the comments, like, other people are like, how did I get to this part of YouTube where I'm watching cat videos or a weird dissection or just something even more weird? So really think about how you can limit distractions. And again, it's part of setting that time and place for yourself where you really have focused time for yourself to work on your own goals. So, at work, you don't really have your TV or pets or people that you live with coming to distract you. So really think about how you can kind of simulate that work environment so that you're not getting distracted as you're pursuing your own goals. As a bonus part of this hack, I would say find a part of the house that you typically don't even relax in. Right now I'm actually taking over somebody else's office space in the house because this is not a place that I typically go to or relax, and it's setting up a new environment and almost creating that office mentality for me. So, if you don't have the space, that's fine, but just maybe set up different lighting, or, make sure you remove your phone from the room, or, just do something that's different that makes you feel like you're going into a different setting. I would definitely not recommend trying to work in the living room where you're used to relaxing or binging on Netflix. Like, really change that environment so it can kind of snap your brain into action and realize, hey, this is a working space for myself, not a relaxing space. So this brings us to hack number 4, which is set deadlines for yourself. I know I talked about having a time and a place, but deadlines really create another level of accountability. Just like at work, you have deadlines. I feel like if at work my boss never set a deadline for me, I would just keep working on a project indefinitely, right? But for me, I have weekly one-on-ones, and usually my due dates for things that he asks for is the next week. So during that week, I'm really just, even knowing that deadline, I'm naturally adjusting my schedule to prioritizing getting certain things done. Whether I want to get a head start on it, that's fine. But usually like 2 or 3 days before the deadline, I'm like, Lena, you really have to see if you're ready to present, or ready to get the slide done, or ready to get, this email written so that we can have it in time to review together for the one-on-one. So for me, I've applied the same concept to myself. I've set weekly goals for myself as well as daily goals for myself. What I have to get done in a certain day before the next day, as well as, something like this, posting this video weekly and making sure that I get that on time. So I know there's a lot that goes into goal setting, so that's just a little sneak peek into what I have in store for you next week, which is all about setting short-term and long-term goals to make sure that you accomplish what you're aiming to do. And this brings us to the best hack of all, which is visualize the end result. This has been such a game changer for me on things that I've personally struggled with. Like, I always struggled with going to the gym or getting on the elliptical. And for me, starting to visualize the end result has been so much more motivating than getting stuck into that rut of thinking about all the things I don't want to do. Like, oh, I'm going to get all sweaty. I have to take my makeup off. I'm going to have to shower, and then I'm going to be sore. And it's like, that's just so demotivating, right? But instead I think about how I'm going to feel afterwards. Like, wow, I'm going to feel so refreshed. I'm going to feel energized. I'm going to feel good about myself. I'm going to look at like how many calories I burn and be able to log it into my tracker. You know, those are the things that you want to focus on, and also focus on the long-term end result as well. Like thinking about what that long-term goal is. You know, for me, like fitting into my dress that I had before that I haven't been able to get into for years, or you know, just feeling really accomplished about hitting my goal weight. Those are things that will really help you motivate yourself. Even in making this video, I went through a similar thought process, and it was such a game changer for me because I just focused on how great I felt last week after accomplishing a goal I had set out to do, and actually filming the video and editing it and publishing it. There wasn't like a crazy amount of views, but for myself, I felt like I had made a big breakthrough, and I wanted to keep up the momentum and, you know, follow what I preach. You know, I want to practice what I preach. So, you know, for you, I think you also take that into account. Just like after working out, I'm usually surprised by the feeling of how accomplished I feel and how good I feel. I really, you know, think about that now, and now it's, you know, of course, less surprising, but I think about that before, and I visualize the end result before doing the action, and that really helps. And so you can bring the same thing to your business. Like, just like for me, when I was thinking about making this video, I started to go down that rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, I have to set the whole thing up. I have to bring all my equipment downstairs. Then I have to do all this editing, and I started to go down this kind of rabbit hole of, oh, it's gonna just kind of not be the easiest thing to do right now during the weekend and squeeze it before I go see my parents. But instead, I really focused on just thinking about last week, how accomplished I felt, how amazing it felt to like set a goal and hit it and be on time. And I really want to do the same thing this week. And it really kind of pulls that whole thing together of, you know, all those things that, those parameters I set up for myself, like the accountability, being accountable to that person who said, hey, Lena, weren't you going to hit your goal this week? So all of the tips and hacks really work in concert. So thanks to all of these hacks, and especially the last one in terms of visualizing the end goal before taking the action, has helped me create this video and put it in front of you today. So I hope that it will motivate you in the same way that it motivated me, and that you can put these tips and hacks to use. So I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Let me know if it was helpful in the comments below. Don't forget to hit subscribe and the notification bell so you can get my next video about goal setting. So I look forward to seeing you all next week on Sunday or Monday when the video gets posted. I'm setting a little extra accountability for myself to ensure that I hit that goal as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and hope you have a great day. Hi, it's Lena here. Thank you so much for visiting my channel and checking out my content. If you enjoyed today's video, please comment below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you're updated every time that I upload a new video. Thanks so much for watching, and hope you have a great day. Keep on thriving.